was diving into Genesis chapter 1 the other day, and I couldn't stop thinking about how amazing and intentional it is. It's not just about creation, it's about purpose, order, and this incredible picture of who God is. Let's take a stroll through Genesis 1 together and see what stands out. Grab your notebook, Bible and coffee, and let's get to it. Genesis 1 begins with these famous words, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." It's a simple yet powerful opening to this epic story of creation, and from there it unfolds in 6 days, and each day building on the one before. Let's go step by step and see what God is doing in this masterpiece. So picture this. In the beginning, there's nothing. It's dark, formless, empty. I mean, it was nothing. Can you even imagine that? And then God said, "Let there be light," and boom, light appears. God says it, and it happens. He separates the light from the darkness and calls one day and the other night. That's day one. And here's what gets me. God looks at it and says it's good. Not mediocre, not functional, not just okay, but good. There's a sense of satisfaction, like an artist stepping back to admire the first brushstrokes of a masterpiece. It makes me think, when was the last time we paused and appreciated something we did, no matter how small, and called it good? When we look at something we worked and we slaved over, we imagined over, and we were satisfied with it. We weren't self-critical to the point that it gets us down and makes us depressed, but we appreciate it. Remember, God is in us. Day 2, it's all about creating space. God separates the waters above from the waters below, creating the sky or the heavens, depending on your translation. Like to pause and imagine it. Think about how vast and open the sky is, how it stretches endlessly. It's this beautiful expanse that reminds us of how big and limitless God is. And again, God looks at it and says, it's good. Nothing mediocre here. It's good. It's not just about what he's making, but how he feels about it. Like every step matters. That's a good reminder for us as well. Every little step matters. Okay, day 3. Now this is when start getting really interesting. God gathers the waters into one place and dry land appears. He calls the land earth and the water seas. But he doesn't stop there. God speaks again, and suddenly there's vegetation, plants, trees, fruit-bearing everything, and not just decorative. They're ready to grow and reproduce. That's part of God's plan. Grow and reproduce. This blows my mind. God didn't just create things to exist. He created them to thrive, to continue, to sustain life. It's the cycle of abundance built right into creation. Doesn't it make you think about how God's plans for us are so intentional? Like, he doesn't just want us to exist. He wants us to flourish. Day 4 is one of my favorite. God creates the sun, the moon, the stars, not just to light up the sky, but to mark time. Seasons, days, years are all set in motion on this day. Have you ever looked up at the stars on a clear night and felt this overwhelming sense of wonder? That's intentional. It's like God put them there to remind us of how big he is and how small we are, and yet he cares for us. And like everything else, God looks at it all and says, it's good. There's a theme of order and beauty that runs through the entire chapter. Now we're at day 5 and life starts to fill the earth. God creates all the sea creatures and birds, filling the waters and skies with movement and sound. What's amazing here is that God blesses them. He tells them to multiply and fill the earth. This is the first blessing in the Bible, and it's about abundance and life. Have you ever watched birds fly or fish swim? It's so calming and so beautiful. That's part of God's creation. A world that's not just functional, but filled with beauty and joy. And of course, he looks at it and he says, it's good. Day 6 is the grand finale. First, God created land animals, everything from livestock to wild beasts, and then he comes with his most remarkable creation, humanity. God says, let us make man in our image. That's a big deal. It means he created us to reflect God's character, God's love, God's life, to have this unique relationship with him and to care for the world he made. He creates male and female, gives them responsibilities over the earth and blesses them. And when he looks at everything he's made, this whole complete creation, he doesn't just call it good, he calls it very good. It's such a beautiful picture of God's love and purpose for us, and it's very good. God was emotional and intentional in what he says. There's so much we can learn from Genesis 1, but here are a few things that really stand out to me. Number 1, the power of God's word. God speaks and things happen. His words carry the life and authority. That's something we can hold on to. His word is still that powerful today. He doesn't say empty things. He says things that he means. And his word is full of his word. God's intentionality. Nothing in creation is random. Every detail is purposeful. That includes us. He didn't just make us accidentally or we'll just tag him at the end. He intentionally made all he made and then he made us. It was an intentional order because God is a God of order. Being made in God's image is huge. It means we have value, purpose, and the ability to reflect his character in how we live and in what we do. Number 4, God's delight in creation. Over and over again, God calls it good. That tells me he cares deeply about his creation, and that includes you and me. I love how Genesis 1 isn't just a story about the world being made. It's a story about who God is and how much he cares. So what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and let's chat in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, God's creation was intentional. His word is powerful, and you are part of his incredible story.